Hi, this is Bob from w126parts.com. Today we're going to be talking about gauge clusters. Now the nice part about the gauge clusters is that for the SEL, the SE, or the SEC, all the 126, the gauge cluster housing, this part, is the same and it's interchangeable between all of them. The only real difference that you would have to worry about with any of the housing would be, if you notice on the bottom, the so-called different warning lights or idiot lights. Those might be different depending on what options that you have. The nice part is that, as you can see, they are removable. And basically what they do is they come with all your different warning markers that can be set up in different ways. Now you notice even from the factory that some of these aren't all printed together, such as this one. You'll see that the ABS, if you can see on the back there, this was actually taped on at the factory to add the ABS. And to get to these, basically once you take off this bottom piece, you can actually take a tweezers and they'll pull out and you can push the other ones in. So we're going to probably take 2 or 3 videos to talk about this just because there's so much involved in this. The first thing is fade. The sunlight fades these things terribly. So like you'll see that this one, fairly low mileage, 148,000, but you'll see how much orange there is in it. With the sun will tend to bake them out. Now this one's only got 110,000 miles in it, but you'll see that both the needle itself has become yellow, along with all of the numbering has become faded. So that's going to be your first thing. Now there are ways to repaint them. You can repaint the needles. I can use some different choices of some orange paint to make the needles look better. But unfortunately this is all painted on the outside, so you can't really do anything with the dials themselves. You can go with a sticker, and of course we all know that the most common one is the one on eBay, which is the white stickers. The white stickers, you can tell that whoever had done this one had cut it to put this sticker on. Not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to actually remove all of the pins and then put the new sticker on and then put all the pins together, rather than cutting it and trying to slip it over the needles that are on there. Usually what's going to happen with these, if they sit too long, a mold grows on. Now a typical one, such as this, you'll see that even on the inside you can see these little dots. The little dots are actually mold. What's happened was, it originally was a very flat piece of plastic, but with a little bit of moisture and it being trapped in there, you get all the mold. Once you get that, it's very hard to get it off. On the gauges it's almost impossible. And then I think I have one that I grabbed. Here we go. I had to clean this one up a little bit, but if you can close up on that, you can see on the inside all of the different mold that is all accumulated. To get something like that off, what you would actually have to do is you'd have to take apart this entire piece. And what that would look like, once you take some of the rubber off the sides, you would actually have to pry the 2 sides away using heat. Very difficult, and you usually end up cracking the glass. The next most common thing that happens with them is that the clock will stop working. The clock is pretty simple. It's actually, once you take it apart, the only thing that you need to do is add one of these great new capacitors, or transistors, I don't remember what they're called. Funny thing is, and to show you how old I am, you used to be able to go to Radio Shack and buy these. Now you have to order some. But it's a simple matter of just soldering it back in. Once you solder it back in, then your clock will start working again. I've never seen one where the capacitor hasn't fixed the clock. With that, a lot of these are going to have all different RPM red lines depending on what you're running. The diesels actually have a lower rev limiter, but to give you some idea, like a USA 500 is going to have a 5500 red line start. A Euro 500 would have a 6000 red line. Some of the 380s you're going to see with a like a 6300 red line. It just depends on what the car is. Some of the other features of this is down at the bottom you're going to have a outdoor or outside temperature gauge, and they come in either Fahrenheit or Celsius. You can't change between the two. If they left the factory as Fahrenheit, they're always going to read Fahrenheit. If they left it as Celsius, they're always going to read Celsius. Now with these, they all fit into the same spot on the back of the. Both of those weren't optioned with it. Let's see if this one is. There we go. See, it's cut out. It doesn't have the ones that aren't optioned with it are going to have the bar in there. The ones that do have it have no bar. So what'll happen is they just slip in. The earlier designs do not have it a totally enclosed case. You can see the circuit board on the bottom. The later ones are totally enclosed. You can use them interchangeably. They both fit in the same spot. They both do the same work. But obviously the later ones with the enclosed circuit board are much more desirable because you don't have to worry about moisture getting in there and making this not work anymore. Again, as I said, we're going to divide this up into a couple different videos, but I just wanted to give you some of the basics. One of the other things that goes a lot is the wheels that keep track of your odometer. You'll see that they have a tendency to disintegrate inside just because of the plastic that they're made. There's many odometer wheels. You have to get the right ones because each one of the speedometer and odometers are set up for a specific engine and a specific rear end. And how you can tell that is usually by the sticker that's on the back. There'll be a sticker that'll say what it's set up for. So that's kind of your basic introduction to this. As I said, I'm going to break this down more. We're going to go over how to fix some of the things on it, how I recondition these if I need to. But that's all for now. This is Bob from w126parts.com. Please like and subscribe.